Who had plastic on the eye?
Not plastic, it's the iron.
Good evening, everybody. We thank God tonight for this 8th day of this 5th month. I know most of you may have been looking for us to be live on yesterday, Sunday rather, not yesterday. Today is Tuesday. We normally have our Fire Fuel Bible study on Wednesday night. On tomorrow night, I believe about 7 o'clock, we're supposed to be live with our daughter's college for some kind of, what is it, evangelist?
It's an award ceremony for high school.
Her high school award ceremony. She is summa cum laude with her high school areas. She has a 3.5 GPA graduating from high school. And on tomorrow, she has her award ceremony where they'll be giving out their awards for what they have accomplished. She's also a part of the National High School Society, National Honor Society for high school students that are honors. So she's on all of that good stuff. So she have her sashes for all of that, as well as other sashes that will be given out for honor students. She's been in honors classes. She's been a part of FLVS here in Florida. She's been in homeschool since I left Georgia, so she's been in here. The first homeschool that she was a part of, there was some glitches that she had with them, but when she moved to FLVS, her grades tremendously went up. Now, if she would have stayed on top of some things, we know she would have graduated before now. She would have got out when she was about 14 or 15 years old. Our daughter got a little slothful for whatever reason it was, but her grades slothful, lazy. She was like a sloth. Said she don't know what slothful is. And her mama laughing because her mama know what being slothful is. Is that right? So she got lazy. She got to the place to where she got discontented and did not do what was necessary to move herself in advancement where she should be. Because I'm looking for it on YouTube, and I don't see that I'm live on YouTube. I'm looking for it. I don't see it. So let me go out and come back because I'm on my YouTube channel, and I don't see us being live as of yet. So, however, I'm saying all of that. We are live tonight, this Tuesday night, and there's a reason why we're here on Tuesday. Now, most of you that have been a part of our ministry that God have given us, this year will be 20 years that it has been in existence as a ministry for over 20 years. It'll be the 21st of August that we have been in existence this year. And we used to be on Tuesday nights, we were on Thursday nights, and it seemed like every night that God had set for us to do it, everybody wanted that night, and I thought because of the numbers that we had, sent it to Evangelist Lily, because God have did some things. Evangelist Lily, one of our ministers out in California, they're a few hours behind us, as well as my dad's sister that follows the ministry, his last living sister. They're 2 hours behind. She's in Seattle, Washington, but Evangelist Lily seemed to have her and her mother and other folk that be a part of it along with her husband. They do a lot of things with the working of the ministry. Long story short, they tend to bring a lot of people in. We were doing the ministry where they would call into the call-in line. We would have 300-400 people that would be a part of it on call-in line. And then when Facebook started allowing us to go live, they would have just that many people all the way in Belize, in Central world. Folk thought that it was about a platform that we just wanted folk. It was about spreading the gospel. And just a few weeks, I believe it was, she sent my wife a message saying that she wasn't able to get the people on in Central America. And it's about getting folk to the place of getting close to Christ. Right. Because we teach the truth. We stand on the truth, and we do everything that we can to live the same truth that teach. Fall with God. And I told y'all my favorite saying and my favorite statement. And I always love DC and I love Marvel Comics, but here in DC Comics, y'all know I love Batman and the fact that Batman's father always asking Bruce, why did we fall? And when he first asked Bruce that, and I told y'all I go back to it because it's a statement that has some substance in it. And the sustenance that comes with that substance, Bruce said, why? And his dad said to pick ourselves back up again, to get back up. And that's the thing about it when you look at the gospel, because when you look at what the Apostle Paul says to the believers down at Galatia, to the church at Galatia chapter 6, he states the mere fact that when you see a brother that is overtaken in the fall, we want to be so spiritual. We don't understand spirituality. It just simply means that we're part of that rescue team. We're part of that hero team, right? Yeah. We're part of that team that goes out of the first responders that now respond to somebody that has found themselves in a situation that has caused them some harm, whether it is them themselves that has done it or somebody else that have caused them to be in a predicament that have caused them some bodily harm, right? Mm-hmm. Just in San Diego on yesterday, there were some teenagers that caused a mosque out in San Diego. A parent had already been warning and tried to warn the officials that one of her children had been doing some things, were in position, had stole some things and had done some things and had put themselves in a transient situation that would cause some harm, and went out and stole some things and stolen a car that would eventually cause some damage. And by the time all of this had happened, there were some lives that had been injured, and other lives could have been taken even more than what it was. But by the time the vital information had been passed on to first responders, there were some things that had happened. And they were a part of the same place where they went out to do some harm. Am I right? Mm-hmm. My wife says she didn't know it because we don't get news as we should get it, because the present administration wanted to make sure that nobody heard and knew about anything they wanted to have put out that is actual factual news, because they consider it to be fake news, and the only news he wants you to know about is what he wants you to be told and the news that he wants about themselves. Am I right? Mm-hmm. So when we look at we have to make sure we understand. So Paul tells the believer in Galatians chapter 6, if a brother's overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual. How do we understand what spirituality is? It simply means we recognize at a place and at a time, at a moment, both natural, intellectual, holistically, mentally, psychologically, socially. We look at it from a motherly, fatherly, friendly, family standpoint, that there's something that's going beyond the capability and the scope of our understanding, that we now need to corral around these people, that something beyond our understanding, and we need to now help heal. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I said a whole lot in the middle, like I said the same way, but I said it because it goes on the first part of what I said. The second part of what I said, because it reached from the body, the soul, and the spirit, because are a trichotomy. So that's why I said it 3 different times, because when you look at it, God told man to have dominion, right? When he told him the first time to have dominion in the earth, he said, over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over all the things that were in the earth. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Everything that was in the earth, he told him to have that. Then he told him to have dominion. He had him to understand that he had natural dominion over everything. Mm-hmm. When he told him to subdue, he sure that he understood in subduing it, he needed to manage well. He needed to properly execute his authority and not abuse it and take advantage of it, take it for granted, and use it in a manner that would now fulfill his desires the way that he wanted it, and get out of hand with it and do so many things that would only put him in a position that he would lose his positional place. Mm-hmm. It would cause him to transgress against what God gave, and he would act against the will of God, right, because he had free will. Am I making any sense? Uh-huh. Then he told them to have dominion again. Dunamis, power, authority to execute spiritually, because there were some things that were in the earth that had inertia. And I want you to look up the word inertia. I hear you, Holy Ghost. I'm operating like it needs to be, because when my daughter used an app that would begin to define and begin to record and begin to transcribe the things that were talked about, what had been preached and ministered on Sunday, and it broke down all of the things that were there, what was said, and how it broke down a mother, and it broke down what Mother's Day was, and it broke down the mere fact of how we look at things in this world, and we purposely begin to move in the position that we were, and we break down how we're to operate in order, and how we break down the positioning, and how we break down the way God put us in the positions and places that we are, and how we're to operate effectively in it. All of those things were broke down. Am I right? Mm-hmm. Right. When we explore and understand how God kept a record, because the record had already been being kept before it had even been written, but it was written before it was written, because God had already recorded what he was going to put in place, so that when it was transcribed and put in place, it went according to what he had already placed in his heart. What was in his heart was already brought to pass. But he gave it an opportunity to operate according to what he knew the system would operate like. It was systematically put in place before the system was already operating in the place that he had put it in. Right. Am I making any sense? Right. So when he said that we ought to look upon those that find themselves overtaken, became overwhelmed. You could no longer control the situation that was at hand. Right. You ran out of options. There was no way that you can find yourself to the door that God gave you the way of escape, because the sin that now had been presented to man, that man could now find himself getting out of that sin. There's no sin that is not common that man will find himself being overtaken by, because God is faithful to give him a way of escape. But yet man found himself in an unescapable situation that he didn't allow himself to get out of, because he saw all of what presented, and he saw that it was just so inevitable and so inevitable, and it was so eatable, and it was so edible. Did y'all see? Inevitable and edible. Mm-hmm. And it was so eatable, and they were delicacies that were set before him that he had never seen. And that's what happened in the garden with Eden, because Eden, she knew she was in the garden. Eden, Eve saw, wait a minute, she already knew it was already good. She knew it was good for the eye, it was good for the belly, but she knew she wasn't supposed to do it. But she let somebody make her feel as though she couldn't have what was already hers, and fooled her into believing. But he didn't have to say one word, because she took the words and she misconstrued them. So he just flipped the script on her. When we look at all of the things we've been looking at, and we look at all the things that God has given us, I want us to understand, if we take it back, because sin is right there at the door. I told you back in Genesis, right? Mm-hmm. Genesis chapter number 3 and going into Genesis chapter 4, because they did what they did, he told them he was going back from whence he came. When we look at all of these things, we took ourselves and put ourselves in a position that we barricade ourselves away from the responsibility of now understanding that we got to deal with life, death, and judgment. Mm-hmm. So we look at all of the things that are going on in the world, and we're wondering why we're at the place that we're at, but yet God is going to deal with the things that are there. And if you look at what my daughter did today, and she put a Revelation chapter 19, verse 11 through, I went to 11 through 18, but I believe it's 11 through 16 you had put up. And you look at the fact that here now this angel is dealing with some things, but I want us to understand something real quick. In chapter 24, I want you to put that there, because in the 24th chapter, we are just so stuck in the fact that we claim we love, but yet we don't love is. And if we really understand love is, then we wouldn't allow sin to be so rampant in the earth. Yet God said it would be. Then I want you to write Jeremiah chapter 31, because God's covenant, because each stage there, he made a covenant with man before he even could eat. And in chapter number 2 of Genesis, it says that he that was an introduction one, and then in chapter 2 it talks about the creative order. He introduces, he talk about how that it was created, but in the process of being created in chapter 1, how it was in the destructive process, that you know that he threw because of this on heaven, and in that disorder in heaven, he threw into the earth. These were in the earth because they were set up to be able to be, so that when we get ready to create, they were there to let man, because man would have be in the man's life. They just get the nerves to make sure they within. That's what you're. Mm-hmm. They don't force you. They remind you. They're the quiet still voice, right? Used to say, "Mom, my mom them used to when they whipped the word lick that they gave you. I tell you not to not. I'm gonna whip you for the noon. I'm gonna whip you for what's getting ready to happen." And like a broken record, because that's what them did. And anybody from the country, from the bayou where I'm from, that's what they did, right? And we had the audacity to say the reason why our parents did what they did is because of the slave masters. They ain't had a darn thing to do with slave masters. If y'all really understood, they did what they did so that slave masters had reason to tear into your house. But y'all were too stuck because y'all were stuck on systems that did not really exist. Mm-hmm. So now when you go back to that and bring it up to chapter 3, and the mere fact that he had gave them a set of rules, and he gave them mandate, he gave them a set of orders, he gave them structure, he gave them boundaries and borders, and because they were already in place before he took Eve from him, he took Eve out of him, because she was the exact complement of him. Mm-hmm. Mentally, emotionally, socially, affectionately, psychologically, she was able to be like him because she had to bear the fruit of him. In order for her to bear the fruit of him and from him, she had to have what the earth had, because he said that everything in the earth would bear after his own kind. So how would anything in the earth bear fruit after Adam's time when there was nothing after Adam's time in the beginning? Because when God created him from the dust of the ground, he brought everything to Adam for Adam to name, right? Mm-hmm. Is that not good for man to be lonely? Because God was lonely. The angels were created to do a job. They would do what God said. They had no choice. They had no free will. Right? Yeah. That's about it. But whenever Adam had a choice to want to praise God, the angels had no choice but to praise and worship God. You want to go straight into worship, but you can't even get the junk out of you. Mm-hmm. You can't even get sin out of your way. Come on. You can't even get the speck out of your eye while you looking at the mote in your brother's eye. Mm-hmm. You see all the dirt in somebody else's life, but you want to get before God. You want to bow down and worship him. Worship him. Oh, worship him. That's what we say, right? Mm-hmm. We will sing like Paul, right? We want to be in the key of C, right? Mm-hmm. You gonna worship him and you still full of junk. David couldn't even bring back God and the covenant from Obed-Edom's house because he wasn't right. Mm-hmm. The priest wasn't right. They built a brand new cart to bring the ark back, but didn't know how to carry the ark. You have an ark inside you because he said the kingdom of God is within you. Mm-hmm. Search the text. If the ark is in you, and you don't know how to carry the ark in you, which means you don't know how to handle it, but you letting everybody else take the rod, stand on side, 3 priests on side of you, and they don't know how to carry it, and you wonder they always dying, and you dying with them. David went back and he searched the scripture. He found out how to handle it. And he found out how far apart everybody needed to be. He found out what was supposed to be done in the process of going forward with the ark. He found out how, in the process of reading the word, there was some singing that had to go in the midst of it. So because of all of this and all of those things and life, death, and judgment, you think that you're living, but you just existing. And you're really not existing, you just here. Isaiah said that something just a drop in the bucket. Y'all can find it out for yourself. I'm expanding and expounding upon it because when you look at what he says in Galatians chapter number 6, because of the mere fact that if we was really trying to refresh, renew, restore, if we were really trying to get our brothers that was overtaken, that found himself because there's no temptation that is common to man, that is known to man, that man have recognized and seen, and the fact that we don't have a high priest that is not overtaken by that was without sin, right? That's what the writer said, right? Yeah. That's what Paul said to the Hebrew people, right? He wanted them to know that you don't have a high priest that was not just like you, was not tempted at all points, but yet without sin, right? He came in this, he found himself, he thought it not robbery to be in the form of man, but still be was without sin. Am I making any sense to you? Yeah. And yet we're looking at all of these things that's going on. And yes, I brought up what happened in San Diego on yesterday because we understand that all of these things are the troubles that are going to take place before the end. Brought up Matthew 24, brought up, and I told you, tag in Jeremiah 31 because the covenant he made with Adam. Because he covenanted with Adam first before he took Eve out of Adam. And when he took Eve out of Adam, don't you recognize that that covenant was already within her DNA? Yet he still had to bring them together and bring the covenant back up again. Because she couldn't just say that, well, you gave it to him and I don't know what you said. Hello. Right. That was no excuse. It's why she was able to say, well, the Lord said, but then she said, don't touch, but that ain't what he said. He said that they could not eat. He didn't say they could not touch. How many times we take the word of God and we add and take away? What the word said, right? Y'all talk to me. Don't get quiet tonight. Y'all read it, right? Yes. That's why I tell you, when you come, we have an open forum because I want you to talk back to me. Tell me what you know that the word said. So you need to know whether or not I'm telling you that the word said or that's what John said. Or you believe that's what John said. Because at some point you need to know the word for yourself. Because see, under the law, the young men as well as the young women, because they had to write it on the tables of their heart, they had to write it and they had to wear it around as a band around their head, around their neck, and around their right wrist. Come on, y'all. See, in the original text, when we had the word as it was there. And as I told my daughter with the text that she chose in Revelation 19, verse 11 to verse 16, it said that he had a name written in his right leg. But it said the name that's written there, don't nobody know. But when you read in the text, the name that's written there, it said what the name was, but in the text that you got there now, it tells you that they don't even know what it said. Go get you a 1960, 1950, 1930, 1980, a 1990 edition, and then anything after 1990, it changes the verbiage. Go get it. Check. Hello, y'all. So when you take that and you add it in, and I'll go there for you in Revelation 19, because I asked you to make me a background tonight, and it's similar to the one that you saw on last week. Let's see what he says, what the angel says. It says there in verse 11, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doeth judge and make war. And y'all see all the things that are going on now, because that was a nuke that already had been sent on last week. And then there was some folk in Iran that said that they did it, and the other folks said they did it, and nobody wanted to make the truth of who did what, but that was a mushroom cloud that came up, and then right after that, then our president decided to say that they had talks going on, but then the talk said no, that it really was taking place.
My Lord.
There's always a back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
There's lies gonna be spread.
Yes.
Then seem like while they're back there trying to take your right away to vote because they want to suppress who you are, because they want to keep you quiet as they did in Egypt. Hello, y'all.
My Lord.
And then some of y'all so afraid to open your mouth, you rather just sit back and say nothing at all. Family in Louisiana want to step up. Mississippi and Alabama want to step up. Here in Florida, they're finally opening their mouths like they should.
Come on.
Oh, y'all better talk.
Mm-hmm.
But we say that we know the Lord and we love. I love the Lord. He heard my cry.
Well.
But you carry it off.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You look at the melanin of the skin, but yet your cellular structure covered by.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the sound waves that also reverberate because of melanin. I didn't just eat lunch in school.
Come on.
Sometimes I didn't have money to go in the lunchroom and pay for anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad, because I wasn't always hungry. Because there were times that I prayed so much that I was not hungry at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because my food and my meat was sometimes just the word of God.
Come on.
So I didn't have to worry about eating all the time, because I was fooled by the Spirit of God.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad part was, even in school, there were times I really didn't want to hear what God had to say, but there were things that God said anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all better talk.
Come on.
So when you look at what he says, God's judgment is still going, and you worried. And it's funny that it says when the devil cried. That's a cartoon my daughter turned me on to it. The funny thing was, the first season was depiction of everything that went on in the first term of Donald Trump. Season 2 picks this term is it now, the turmoil that we got. Pick the vice president, the same president that is with him now. As y'all better talk to me. You had President Pence, which was a military man that served with him in his first term, and they got rid of him, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And here, in the same essence, you have J.D. Vance, that was a military man that really didn't have a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all better talk to me. Mm-hmm. And if you go back and look at it on that, you will see that they wanted to open up hell. And they did open up hell. And there were two twin brothers. And my analogy of it, it depicts Gabriel and Michael. Y'all better catch it. See, I look at a lot of different things for different ways, and you look at what's going on. Look at war, how they went in hell, and they thought they were going to destroy everything that was in hell. And you look at the big things that are there, and all of the folk and the things that you look at the beasts and the false prophets that they thought they had destroyed. And the last one that was there was the primary one that decided that he would dilute and leave from God. and that was the strongest of them all, and that was sinuous. And he let them know that I'm the one that caused the fight between heaven and hell. And it's amazing because right before it get towards the last 7 episodes, it's showing you that what's going on in Iran, Saudi Arabia, and all in the places around with all of their military stuff. It's the same thing going on when the devil cried. Y'all don't hear me? It show y'all all the spirits that come and how they're trying to take over the world, and how the millionaires, the billionaires, the trillionaires want to be a part of everything, and find out that all they are pawns in the game. And eventually, the president that had the golden statue had it blown up and wind up getting his head blown off. Boy, I want y'all to catch it here. I'm painting y'all a picture for you to go and look at it and see. It's amazing how it shows even the White House wind up getting destroyed. Half of America getting destroyed. And how they get all of their technology. Oh, y'all better catch it here. And it says that the angel comes, and who his name is. Y'all better catch it here. I'm trying to help y'all out. And those that go around like everything's all right, and it shows all the people that are starving and they don't even want to help them, and they walk all over them, and even the person that called himself a president. It depicts every state: California, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Florida, D.C., Chicago. All of these places are depicted. Y'all better catch me here. New York is even destroyed. New York is the center of where all of this stuff is really taking place. I'm trying to help you here. Why am I bringing it up in Bible class? Because preparation means a lot, because when we started this lesson, we started in 2 Corinthians 5, right?
Right.
We were at the 1 Corinthians 15, right?
Right.
And if death was swallowed up, huh? And if this mortal got to put on immortality, this corruption got to put on incorruption, and the saying is saying, "O death, where is thy sting? Grave, where is thy hold?" Huh? I need us to understand that this body got to lay off some things. And you worried about dying, and some of y'all ain't, because I want you to catch it. He goes on to say, his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but him himself. He goes on to say he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood. I want you to understand that that vesture blood was them that had their heads deep, and lives have been lost for believing in Jesus Christ. Back up and read yourself. And his name was called the Word of. You'll be there, go to John chapter 1. And it said that the Word was made and the dwelt among us. And we being as the only begotten Son of God. He said, in the name of the Word of God, in the Gospel of John, says, and the Word made flesh. They ain't no backing up for you. Huh? That's how my great grandma said. And the armies were in heaven, followed him upon horses. Remember at Calvary, when the thief on the left side said, come down and save yourself. The thief on the right said, if you knew who Dan was, if he would have got down right in and there would have been no more us right now.
Come on.
Y'all realize that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all real quiet. Y'all should be, see, that's why I should be shouting. See, we shout when the preacher say things that make us feel good, and then we go home and it's all right. And then we get up and do the same thing the next day. We carry on the same way. Why, man? We don't know when to shout. See, right there, if he'd have got all Calvary, if he'd have pulled out of his hand, pulled the nails out of his feet, if he'd have took the rope that was still holding him on Calvary, they nailed him between the awl and the radius, not in the palm of his hand, because the amount, the metacarpal bones wouldn't have held him because he was nailed in the palm of his hands, because his hands would have slid right through. Y'all do realize that, right? Let me help you understand, because between the awl and the radius, there's a bone right here between the hand bone, the wrist bone, and the awl and the radius. Yeah, y'all do know that, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Talk to me. Y'all do know human anatomy and bones and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
They cross his feet so that they can make sure that just in case it'd be hard for him to just jump off. So his feet was on top of each other. The right was on top of the left foot. Let me let you do your research and find out why the right was on top of the left. There was a reason for it. The same place the 200 angels that had defected. Those 200 watchers that decided that they would rebel against God was on top of the same place where Adam went out of line.
Mm-hmm.
I've been teaching this since I was a child. It's the same place that they call Golgotha, the hill of skull. Mm-hmm. It's the same place that they crucified Jesus. So where the angels messed up, where Adam messed up, y'all better catch it here. Mm-hmm. You can do the theological research if you want. It's the same place Jesus had to set order back in place. Mm-hmm. Eternal order, divine order, spiritual order, earthly order, natural order. Y'all don't get it here. Ooh, I feel pretty good. So when we look at all of these things and what that had to do with what we started, because now to initiate the covenant that he had said, this bread, it represents my broken body and my shed blood. Then he took the cup. He said, this represents my blood, which is there for the remission of sins. As often as you eat of this cup and you drink of this blood, you show forth my death and suffer until I come again. I make a new covenant, because Jeremiah said, no longer shall every man have to teach every man his neighbor. Mm-hmm. Say, know ye the Lord, for they all shall know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, they shall know the Lord, right? Mm-hmm. For I will put my word in them upon earth. I'm going to bring it back to life. It's already there, because when I made him into God, mm-hmm. and I breathed into him the breath of life, mm-hmm. and he became a living soul, I'm going to bring back to life what was already there. Mm-hmm. He going to remember me. The thief on the cross said, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom, right? Mm-hmm. Y'all talk to me. That's what he said, right? See, I ain't trying to make you believe what I believe, but I want you to recognize it and see it yourself. I'm not sending a subliminal message, but I need you to understand and recognize that it came back. Because he said in John, he said, out of you shall spring wells of what? Living water. The identity that you lost gonna come back. But the key of it all, you got to do what? You got to repent, right? Mm-hmm. So now when we go to Revelation 18, let me get to verse number 50. He says, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, but with that he shall smite the nations and shall rule them with a rod of iron, and tread the winepress with fierceness and the wrath of the Almighty. And he that hath his vesture on his thigh with the name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Now remember, you got written up here, don't say that. That's his name. Uh-oh. Now let me go to chapter 18 real quick. Because you got to think about something right as we get into chapter 18 of Revelation, because we got to come out of some stuff. In our homes, our families, with our children, there are angels that already have set out in the earth and graves of those that are safe. Right? So that when Gabriel had been on the trumpet, those graves going, those that already have been sealed. Remember, we have 2 Timothy 19, right? Nevertheless, the foundation of God still has sealed those that are his, because he knows those he is. Why he went to Lazarus and he cried, he wept. Lazarus had to get up and die, and that's why he cried. But it was already that he knew, because he was the resurrection. Though you were dead, yet shall you live again, right? Now, when he told Martha, right? Lord, if you'd have been here just a few days ago, Martha, you know I'm the resurrection? Huh? He that is dead, yes, shall live again, right? Yes. Do you understand that, right? Do you understand if you don't die, Lord, you're going to live again, but you're going to live, right? We so worried. I forgot Holy Ghost. Remind me. Y'all so worried about all that's going on in the world. You worry prices. Do it bother me? Yes, you do. One thing to understand is that God's judgment coming, because he said, Revelation 1 through 24, the whole 8. Because you like to play with places. You like what they serve. You like the fields that they have. You like to play in the beds they got. You go to their casinos. You like the movies they got. You like to get the Oscars and the Grammys. You like their awards have. You like the music that they got going. You like to go to the churches that they got. You like to be a part of the fact that you can confess Christ but still live in the sin that you're in. And become that, because you know nobody should tell you to come out of your mess. But it's all right to pray the Lord and still play on both sides of the fence. Y'all gonna talk to me? You can have a purple marriage, a lily marriage. Come on, y'all. You can have a violent marriage. Have a wife, but you still living with a man while you live in a house with a woman. You can have a man, say you're married to the man while you laying with a woman, and it's a cover-up. Better talk to me. Gospel singers have done that. Some you happy under the church and died with Jesus that were encompassing their faith. There are those of us that were we got heterosexual because we want to play with all that are heterosexual and got some of the same diseases. Y'all better talk to me. Let me not leave us out. Hello. Come on. And then some of us that ain't playing around, but we decided we want to shoot up and got some of the same diseases because we played with other stuff that had nothing to do with laying in the bed with other things. You wanted to have power and authority because you want to put somebody under your feet. So now you take it from somebody. So in chapter 18, look what he says in verse 1. And then after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great the earth was lightened with glory. The earth shined with the glory that God gave his angel. That's plain and simple. You can't catch that? Something wrong, right? That's like me coming with all these new lights that they came up with, these military lights, and they say that the lights that you got ain't got enough light, and the light's so bright it shine the whole street up, right? He says again, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen. Fallen. Remember, we talked about that a couple Sundays ago, right? Babylon has fallen. Think about it. When you read all the way through that, he said, 1 hour was all done. He said, all of what they got. Let me skip down a little bit for you. He said, and the merchants, verse 11, shall weep and mourn her, for no man buy their merchandise. Now I'm going to back up to verse number 6. He said, for her sins have reached to heaven. And God have remembered her iniquities. I'm still in chapter 18. I just backed up a little bit because I started off where he said she fall. She done failed. She done. It's over. God done had enough. You thought you played all this time. You thought you were the big stuff. Y'all miss the big stuff? Yes. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Mr. Big Stuff. My mama used to play that record all the time. Thank y'all, Mr. Big Stuff. Never gonna get my love, Mr. Big Stuff. Come on, y'all. I didn't forget the call they can buy, they won't. You cannot. One thing about certain religions, they think pay penance. You pay all the one thing gonna get you. You done bought all of the women you want. You done bought all of you want. You done bought all the children you want. Bought your way out of all the trouble. You thought you done bought your way out. I wrote it down. Let the record reflect. Let the They're taking our young skin of color, specialized in Florida. They said because he's young. I just told a young black boy, right? We use all of his youth to get out in our fields. Governor Louisiana said that as well. Go ahead, Evangelist, you said something.
They said his vitality.
His vitality, which means that he won't be able to get out there and make no babies. Which means all of what he will be able to do to produce children and have children and raise children, he can take all of that energy because he won't be able to get out there and lay down with a woman. Let me help you understand what that means. His vitality. He will have the strength to get out there and lay with a woman. So all of that energy that he put into in being with a woman now will go into our fields.
Because the humans that have been in here are now at age that they are no longer able to work. He is in his youth. He will be of good service, is what they said.
They said that in Louisiana as well. You back to past Jim Crow. President Abraham Lincoln said that he didn't want to stop slavery. And if it was left up to him, he would have never stopped slavery. Yet he was a black man himself. But history won't tell you that. When you dig into history, you'll find out that he was. Same thing with George Washington. He was really not a white man. He was a black man himself. But because of the tint of their skin that was so light, they were able to get away with a lot of things. But because history will give you one side of their coin. Notice what I said. Their coin, not the coin. So when we look at everything here, he says because of the sin. That's what he said, right? For her sin, verse 5, have reached heaven and God remembered her iniquity. See, you open your mouth, both Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance said in his political advancement to run for vice president, that's get laws that will get out things that don't advance our Constitution and what America stands for. But yet you reversed polarity and did something totally opposite. When the agenda that Donald Trump, the president, had did not fit your agenda and made you look bad, you took tail worse than a prophets and backed up faster than a prayer and allowed him to look bad while you look bad at the same time. Instead of standing up against what the president did, you look worse than a fool and worse than dirt on the ground. Y'all don't hear me? Instead of saying, Mr. President, I understand what you're saying, but that is not what we stand for, and that is not what our principles are. All of y'all that stood with something fell to the same mess and dirt and the same iniquity that God will visit the president with. You will be burned as well. So I want you to read all of chapter 19, but especially all of chapter 24 of Revelation, because you have fallen, and the same thing will fall to you. Just read for yourself. He says in verse number 6, reward her even as she rewarded you. So you worried about the fact that they've cut spending on child care. You worried about dental, vets, health. You worried about the fact that, and I understand it bothers you that they care for elderly nor for children. Come on. But the reward for them will be far greater and worse and hard to deal with than the reward they think is for you. And each and every one of these states, you don't think that at night they have problems sleeping. Come on. That's why they're slowly dying off. And they telling you one thing, that all of them to die, and the folk that they're all that is clothing what they're doing, and they're trying to burn and hide the papers. And that's why Iran got all the records that exposed for you. Come on, y'all. Yeah. You done told a whole bunch of evangelicals, let me tell you about all the UFO side. Let me tell you what's really going on, when they could have said that back in the 60s, the 30s, and the real record that they wanted to show was that black folks have always been the head and we've been the tail. And if we really let black folk know, we gonna be the ones that will be in chains and in fetters. You ain't see no black evangelical pastors at now one of them meetings. Come on. Let me say it all the way, now one of them meetings. Because the only one that was going to be scared, y'all better catch it here. So he goes on. He said, therefore her plagues coming one day. Notice what God says here, that you should worry, they ain't got to worry about the fact that this war had been going on and all the wars that it went on for 13, 25, 7, all the years that most wars went on. God said this one ain't going to last but one day. Notice what he says. Now I want you to understand this here, because we know that one day is as 1,000 years and 1,000 years is as one day. Now we can either take God literally as one day, 1 hour, because an hour can really be less than a second. Come on, y'all. Mm-hmm. He said, death and mourning and famine shall utterly burn them. And remember, he said, a rainbow in the sky will be a sign that I will not destroy the world by water next time. Mm-hmm. But next time I will, because you got to understand, fire is a purge. And when fire burns everything up, it's all gone, because it not only burns surface, but it burns what's underneath. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing left when fire touches everything. Mm-hmm. It don't leave no nerve in it, so nothing can reattach, reconnect, and revitalize itself. Because you gotta now clear everything out and start completely over. It says, family shall utterly burn with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judges her, and the king of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously. Look what he said, deliciously with her. Live deliciously with her. Look what he said. How many folk have decided that they wanted to come in covenant with her? That's what he's simply saying. How many folk wanted to come in covenant with her? How many folk have now broke that covenant with her? But how many folk have now come with the UAE, all these other ones that have come together? See, y'all think that the bond that they are doing with all these other folk, y'all really think that just America is on? Let me turn it this way. Put my back to you. My hair, I got new growth, a few hair back, so I'm turning my back to you. Not in disrespect, but I want you to catch it. Somebody ought to catch it. Mm-hmm. Our president, him folk over there that will be able to negotiate, he brought the wrong people with him to sit at the table with China. Mm-hmm. Because it's about him being in charge, don't even know how to be in charge. It's bad when you want to be large and in charge and don't know how to be in charge of your own self. You bring the wrong people that don't know how to make decisions. That's getting caught up, Cash Patel and all the others. You got videos of you being drunk and folk got to wake you up. You throwing temper tantrums and everything as a president. Y'all better. Let me help you understand something. No matter what position you're in, because you're in this flesh, there will be moments that you will fall prey, privilege, and make mistakes and commit sins. But you're going to keep doing the same things out in public all the time because you think that you are arbitrarily not held responsible and accountable for what you do. You're going to tell the world that you don't owe God no sorry. You don't need forgiveness from God and nobody else. You already going to hell. Y'all got real quiet. Did I say it or did the TV catch it while he was on Air Force One?
TV caught
it.
TV caught it.
Y'all scared to say something? Because it wasn't my words, it was his words. Then you nerve to now want to be little folk to where the news stations now got to stand behind their black reporters, especially their women reporters. Hello, y'all. You have the Secretary of Defense that have called the office the Secretary of War that was a news reporter themselves. Have no earthly clue of how to run the War Defense Department. And I wouldn't put myself in that position because I can tell you how to guide it, but God didn't give me that call. That's why he said in Romans chapter 12, his 12th letter, he said you got to wait on your ministration, right? That ain't my ministration. I know what my ministration is. So you put somebody that know how to run it, not somebody in place that's going to run it the way you want it ran and do what you want them to do. That's why we're running in the ground. And that's why you put all of these people in the place that they is. Because what you want is a nation how you want it. Now the problem what God going to do, he's going to remove everybody, give you what you want, and kill you by yourself. Thank you, preacher. Because he'll move all of the people out of the way that you want moved. And he'll take his children that are around it that really want to live the way he said live and have really repented, all of those of all 12 tribes. And those that have not repented will stay here and die with you. Read Revelation chapter number 18, you'll see it. So let's go here real quick. He said, and the mighty angel, verse 21, and I'm going home with this. He said, and the mighty angel took up a stone. Y'all remember, he said, it's better for you to tear out a millstone. That's what he said in Matthew, right? About your neck and be cast into the middle of the sea. Then one of these little ones. Y'all remember that? Find it real quick. Where he talked about the millstone. AJ, you asked me about that not long ago, about the millstone being tied around your neck, being cast into the sea. It's better for you to tie a millstone. See, a millstone is a grinding stone. It's a heavy stone. You gotta be strong. Sometimes it took 2 or 3 people to walk pushing that stone to grind the feet up. Better to tie a millstone about your neck and be cast into the middle of the sea.
Matthew 18:6.
Read it, if you don't mind. I don't mean to sound like I'm being harsh. Because when I finished reading this, he said, and a mighty angel. Notice he said, a mighty. In other words, he needed a strong angel. I'm pretty boy. But he said a mighty angel. You understand? And they got some big boys out there bigger than me that be holding them, them bars where they stand there and they holding them bars with the big old posts that they holding to see how strong they are. If they go along within 2 or 3 minutes to see who the strongest man in the world. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, baby. Read it.
Back up to verse 5 or read just read this.
You go to verse 5.
And whoso shall receive one such little child in my name receiveth me, but whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he was drowned in the depth of the sea.
And that means where there's no bottom to the sea. You just keep falling and falling and falling and falling. You done drown, and you still going, and you never hit the bottom of the sea. Okay. So he says, here's this mighty angel. This is what John saw in Revelation. This is what happened in the end, right before the accumulation takes place in chapter number 20. Because see, all the angels now, the seals are open. The books and the seals have been broken. The 7 seals have been broken. And after these seals are broken, here's what takes place in the earth. He said this mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, bigger than the average millstone that grinds the wheat. And he said, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down. That's how bad it's going to be. He says, and shall be found no more at all. Y'all going to look for it. Y'all, all the archaeologists want to go and search and want to find to see if they can see anything or find any remains. They won't see if they can find anything that represented and looked like it. They ain't going to find nothing that show anything that represent the old world. That look like Iran, Iraq, Palestine. Y'all better talk to me. America. And I call out a whole lot of cities and states. Look like the Israel you now call Israel. How they call it, the so-called Israel? The is not is what they call them.
Is no real.
The is no real is what they call them. So let me help y'all understand. God knows what God. The record has been reflected and shows that here's the book it is telling you. When he cast it down, he goes on to say, the voice of the harpers, musicians, and pipers, and trumpeters shall be heard no more. See all the music that they play, all the rap that we got, all the gospel rap y'all got, all the contemporary gospel y'all have. I just mess y'all up, huh? All y'all gospel rapping preachers, all us preachers that are not preaching truth, but we want to condone folk. Y'all gonna talk to me? Don't get quiet on me now, church. That's all right. Jesus hit me. He says, heard no more at all in thee. He said, no craftsman, and whatsoever craft he be, shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of the millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. He said, all that stuff they were doing, everything they were making, Hollywood ain't gonna be there. The Hollywood in India ain't gonna be there. Uh-oh. Are y'all getting it? Are y'all catching it? See, we want to be stuck in one place, right? Everything that we got, all the stuff that we're doing. The Hollywood in Mexico, the Hollywood in Atlanta, the Hollywood down in Louisiana, all of these great studios that we done made around the world. Don't be quiet on me. You ain't got to believe me. Look what the book said. That I said, or is it written in the book? Then we go in the book of Jubilees, you'll find it. You go in the book of Enoch, you'll find it. Go in the book of Maccabees, you'll find it. Y'all better talk to me. Because it's written. They took it out so you don't know the truth. He said, you'll know the truth, and the truth gonna make you free. I've been free now. He said, why would you worry about him? As a whole lot of folk will challenge you on the sick. They say they'll come and take your life. Okay. At the end of the day, is it that I'm ready to die? No. But I know one thing, if it ain't my time to go, you can try everything you want to try, but you won't take my life until God say my life is time to be expired. And it's not expired, it just now temporarily ceased to exist in this part. And I'm in suspended animation. Hello? So he goes on. He says, and the light of the candle shall shine no more at all in thee. And the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride shall be heard no more. So you ain't gonna have no more marriages going on. No, all them Hollywood marriages that people have had, and they commenced the marriages on film, where they really have laid down with each other, and they had wives and husbands at home. Where they actually had wives, but they laid up with a woman, and they was a woman. They actually had wives, and they laid up with a man. Y'all better talk to me. Come on. They had to play roles that they normally wouldn't have played, but they got paid money to play it. Are y'all gonna talk to me or just be quiet? Now, I'm not trying to make you, but if you know it's true, because we didn't watch plenty of movies, right? We got Christian channels that play things that we know that ain't of God. Mm-hmm. And we watch them. Mm-hmm. We condone it because we participate in it. Hello? Yeah. Y'all watch things to see the significance, to see the story in it. Hello, y'all. But are we about God's business? So he goes on, he says, the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for the merchants were the great men of the earth. For by their sorceries were all the nations. Look what he said, by their sorceries. See, you think sorcery is just where they come and they say, no. It ain't just the fact that they played magic on you. Remember in school when Halloween came around, Kendra, like magic, alakababagazoo. Remember they used to sing that for Halloween? Yeah. They ain't just doing that. Look what they're doing. Look at AI. I love a good movie. But then also look at it. Wait a minute. Hold up. Because when you really look at it real good, some of that stuff don't just look like AI. You see some things that come out of it that wasn't AI. And they come back and tell you they had to wait a minute. They had to go home and pray. And that's what some of them actors have said. They said it was supposed to be this, but they saw some other stuff that came out that wasn't supposed to be that. Hello, y'all. Mm-hmm. He says, verse 24, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that was slain upon the earth. And that's when you get in chapter 19 and you see what my daughter was led by God to pin up. Is what you see in verse 11 to verse 16. She had put out. I went to verse 18. So I want you to look at this because here's the point where we have to now. Don't keep it like that. Mm-hmm. God never said you couldn't enjoy life. My great grandmother says not what you do, but how you do it. Mm-hmm. Now, how are we doing it to really glorify God in the way that we're doing it? So how are we doing it in the way that we're doing it? Is it bringing glory to God? or is it just making us feel good? Is it a feel good to us? And is it tearing Satan's kingdom down? I said to my kids, I said on Sunday, just because I didn't get up and preach, it's got 4 other preachers in this house. And service could have still went on. So when we don't, we have not sent a bolt of lightning to tear down Satan's kingdom. It don't matter what takes place in our personal life, we still go on about God's business. So for somebody to go to wondering what's on, first of all, it ain't your business. I'm just simply letting you know it don't matter what go on. You still be about God's business. So it wasn't nothing personal that went on that church couldn't go on. Hello. Because I've been sick. And there are times that my body needs to rest before I be dead. So you got to have some sense before you kill yourself. And Satan will let you preach yourself to death. Do y'all know that? You know how many male and female have kept going till they preach themselves and kill themselves? And Satan will just sit back smiling because they know that person know that God called them to do a job, and they just went on and went on and went on and went on, never let their body rest. No, I got sense, brother, sister. And if I'm not in good health, he said that your soul may prosper and be in good health. Hello. So my soul got to prosper. But while my soul is prospering, my physical body got to prosper for my soul to prosper because it's got to heal up in order for me to continue to do the will of God. Do y'all recognize that? So how can I do God's will and I'm all banged up, I'm all decrepit, I'm all falling apart? So sometimes you got to have some sense. And then sometimes you got to sit back and see if people just coming on because they praying Preying, or they Praying with you, for you, and for God to bless. Somebody giving to this ministry, and we don't ask y'all. But if you really are benefiting and growing, then you need to at least say, this is what the Lord has been doing since we've been following, we've been watching. Here's where we have grown. Here's where we are growing. Here's what God began to break off in our life because of the ministry. You ain't got to give one plug nickel, but you can give a plug nickel by saying, this is what God has done for us since we've been participating. There go your money right there. Because you've shown us where you grow. You've shown us where you have left off, where you have left out, where you have come out, where you have broken loose from, where you have gotten freedom from, where you have come to heal at, where you are healed at, where you are being delivered at, where deliverance is working at. That's money right there. That's money in the bank, right? That's what the rappers say, right? Come on, y'all talk to me.
Yes.
So I'm trying to help all of y'all because see, some of y'all think it's just about money. Then you'll see God now begin to add other things to your life. Because now he opened your eyes to show you how to operate in your natural, your physical. Let me just use the word holistic. Y'all look up the definition of the word holistic. You'll see that in raps. Then the husband could be the band around. Then the wife can now seal around the band that the husband is in the family. Then your family will start coming together. Then he'll start working on the rest of your family. Your family that is connected to her family that is connected to your family. Then you'll see all of them so-called friends that say they benefit y'all. You're going to see how they have and how they have not been adding to your lives. Then you'll be able to now start cutting some ties and really building your life. Then you can restructure some things. God bless you. God keep you. You catch it on the flip side, and on the flip side, you understand how to flip it upside down and begin to walk the right way. And you'll see how the bowl really is getting full, and how to empty out the bowls that need to be emptied out, and how to clean the cups that you got, so you don't live off residue, smelling good while you stink at the same time. God bless you. Good night. And take in consideration and go back and listen at this and see where God has given you your prophetic word.